What's up, slime lovers? I don't know what happened to the opening there, but welcome to the show. This is my co-host. He's down low tonight. My partner in slime, Jamie
What's up?
Dunn.
What's up?
I don't know where he's hiding Rebecca. Over here we got world famous JBN, the rock star cat fisherman.
I don't know, but I'm something.
Welcome to the Slime Show. So, JBN, he's a pro staff over at Mad Cats. We're all teammates. This group right here, we're all teammates at Mad Cats. He also has the new slings, which makes rod leashes, and then he's got Stick and Fat Girls, which is just it's a Facebook group with hats. It's your tournament team.
Yeah, pretty much just somewhere to chat, talk catfish and catfish community thing.
So how'd you get started doing that?
I have every type of fish, from saltwater bass fishing and everything. I've always said I'm going to go stick a fat girl. Fat girl.
Love it, man. I love it.
We were just talking one night, and Rand was like, "We got to do something with it." And I was like, "I don't know. We got to get a logo to go with it." And he came up with a dude riding a shark, surfing on a shark or something, and you get me and him together, it ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Within an hour,
I would love to be on that boat with y'all one day.
Yeah, I love that logo. I was going to do the same logo, and then I saw you guys had it, and I was like, well, guess that's taken.
Told my sister what I wanted. She threw it out there. I showed it to Randy. I said, we had to hold up a little bit and get everything right. Next thing I know, it was on Facebook within 30 minutes of me showing it to him. I said, I reckon we're rolling with it.
So you live in North Carolina. What's your home fishery?
My home fishery would be the Roanoke River. That's 10 minutes. I mostly fish Gaston, Roanoke Rapids Lake. I fish Kerr a little bit. I cut my teeth, or my tooth, should I say now, on the Chowan River, which is about 30 minutes from the house.
You sound Cajun.
I
wouldn't say you were from
accent
North Carolina. You sound more like a Louisianan.
And the bad part,
where'd you grow up?
My accent is like way eastern North Carolina. Even the eastern folks where I live do not have an accent as strong as mine for some reason.
Okay. So where'd you grow up?
Conway, North Carolina. I've been here my whole life pretty much.
And we're from Conway, South Carolina.
we joke around about that all the time. I said, Rebecca said, isn't that weird? There's a Conway, South Carolina, and a Conway, North Carolina. I said, well, yeah. Good people come from Conway.
Right. That's right. The difference is y'all's Conway's a little bit more developed than ours.
I wish it wasn't, brother.
I wish it wasn't.
I wish it was country, more country. That beach down there keeps it developing all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll say what's up to some of the people in here. We got Ben and Tips. He's one of our teammates over Carolina Lake Weights. We got Paul with P&B Catfishing. Evan Warden, what's up, buddy? Facebook user. Can't see you guys. It's when you log into Facebook, we're streaming from StreamYard into YouTube, so we can't see your names. But if you want us to see who you are, you can go over to either my channel as Elgato Azul TV on YouTube, or Carolina Real Screamers also on YouTube, and then we can see your names. If you go over there, hit subscribe and give us a little support. But we got Jeremy with Creole Catfishing. What's up, buddy? Welcome in. Another Facebook user. We got Alicia Ferguson, another one of our teammates at Mad Cats. Mad Cats and Carolina Lake Weights.
Yeah.
We were just talking about you guys moving to Mississippi. So
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a big change in Texas. Damn River Boys, welcome in. Rebecca and Jamie. I don't know who they are.
That's me.
That's Rebecca going in under.
I'm working both chats.
We got Avid Fisherman. Welcome in, buddy. Another Facebook user. Let's see. Moving on down. Maurice Kaysen. Welcome in, buddy. Straight Gittins Fishing. Welcome. FD Fisherman. Dwayne Bullard. That's one of my Texas boys. Welcome in, Dwayne. Bunch of Facebook users. Metro Cat. Dan. Welcome in, Dan. Donovan's Fishing. Welcome in, Donovan. Donate Live Catfishing. Another one of our teammates. Welcome. Catfishing Dreams. Catfish Grande. Another local guy from around here. Briar Redell. Welcome, buddy. Dead Sea Pirates. Welcome in. That's it. We got 40 people in here right now, plus Facebook. So
Nice.
appreciate you guys coming in. It's going to be a fun show. So tonight we got JBN, the world famous Mad Cat / Stick and Fat Girls angler. We're just going to wing it again tonight. So that's what we've been doing. It's been working. So that's what we're going to do. We'll probably ask JBN about Stick and Fat Girls, about making new slings, and then his kind of journey with Mad Cats and all that. So
Definitely got that. Definitely going to ask you about your lives, man. I've been seeing you doing quite a bit of lives on Facebook, doing some fishing. Looks like you've been doing pretty decent with them.
Oh, I have my moments.
Like me.
You enjoy doing your lives? I know there's a lot of people. I know I go in there quite a bit, sit there and chat and sit there and just watch you fish. And I tell you, it's enjoyable watching it.
The lives, it's something to do to pass the time. It can be aggravating trying to fish and do lives and watch your mouth and make sure you ain't doing this on TV. And
I started off the show with a curse word, so oops. Apologize for that.
yeah, I've been taking one of my local buddy every once in a while, and he's got his GoPro going all the time. I said, man, I hope you edit half this mess.
I can only imagine. Looks like y'all guys have a lot of fun every time. I mean, you, Randy, and G-Man. I mean, y'all guys has been doing pretty good. I know every time I watch it, man, me and Rebecca, we over here, we're just laughing away at y'all.
Always. There's always a big time when you get us three on the water. That's the only reason I go.
I told Rebecca, I said, we got to get up there and do some fishing with y'all just to get on the boat, just to relax and just enjoy ourselves.
That's it.
I see y'all have fun, but I also see y'all catching a bunch of good fish. So you caught a pretty good one pretty recently. I think you caught it on one of those new Mad Cats rods.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was 72 on Curry on one
Woo! That's a beast.
on the Gremlin test blank.
Look
You know that's a big fish when JB's standing behind it and the fish is as big as he is.
That's right. That's behind that fish.
That man makes most fish look tiny.
I tell you, that is a nice fish, my friend.
Tell us about catching this fish. You got a story with it?
Yep, pretty. We had been fishing all day long, and it had been pretty slow, dragging boards. It was me, Dave, Matt, and Jonathan Keats on the boat. Keats was there and controlling us around, and that fish actually come off Dave's side of the boat. He was on his side of the boat. Both of us were on our phones. And we'll give it 15 more minutes, and we're going back in. And I saw the rod go down at the time Dave saw it go down, and I was faster to the pole than Dave was.
Yeah, you probably bumped Dave out of the way.
Ooh, gone.
So what fishery were y'all on?
That came off Curl Lake.
And y'all were dragging boards?
Dragon boards. We were actually, Jonathan Keach is making some boards, and we were testing his new planer boards. Like,
How deep were y'all, and what were you using for bait?
oh,
What kind of area were you in?
I wanted to say we were on a flat. That one came off the flat, and about 20 foot of water, I would say, a 20-foot flat off the channel. That fish actually, we had a variety of baits. Like we had big old gizzard shad. I think we had a couple suckers, and that one came off a 3 fin shad about that long.
Sometimes that they want the little one, no doubt.
And when he hit it, you knew it was a big fish because, man, it smoked the board. It looked like Jaws. It was just gone.
It looks like y'all been doing some tournaments together and stuff. I know the Ice Bowl, y'all ended up, I saw, had a good finish. Tell us a little bit about, some of your tournaments and stuff y'all been doing together.
Whew, stressful. That's what they ought to make. But yeah, we've been hitting a few here and there. As a matter of fact, the next day after that, we fished a tournament. I think Matt's fish was high 40s, low 50s. We caught in the same area we caught that one, but we caught it on anchor because the trolling motor broke. I hate ankle fishing, but
Trolling motors, man, give you the most problems. Damn.
the wind was blowing, God, probably 20 that morning. We got set up. I threw the drift socks out, and we hit it. And I said, "This ain't good, man." He said, "What?" I said, "You're going to get your wish. We're going to fish on anchor today." That's what we did. Oh, Ice Bowl
paid off. So when you get a bunch of high-level guys like that on the boat, who decides the spots to go check, and who decides who's going to run the graph? Because when it's my boat, I want it to be my spots. I want to be running the graph. I want it all on. If we're going to do poorly, I want it to be on my shoulders. When you get you guys together like that, how do y'all decide where you're going to go look?
It just depends on, we'll talk about it the night before sometimes. If we're dragging, Matt lets us do what we want to. If we're anchoring, Matt goes with the ideas because I am not an anchor fishing man.
So what you're saying, if you're doing good, then you the one that made all the calls, and if you're doing bad, we're gonna blame it on Matt.
We gonna blame it on
or Dave.
That's how it works. Or Dave, yeah. Most of the time it's Dave's fault when we don't catch nothing. I'll catch a bunch of
That's my rule.
I always blame it on her. So
No, it's this way.
the whole Ice Bowl thing. We had a spot picked that we were gonna go to. We went and ate supper, and then Adam Cook decided he couldn't make it back up because he had truck issues, and he called me up and said, "You better go to this area and fish." And I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go over here." And he was like, "I'm gonna kick your butt if y'all don't go over here and try it." I done spent a week up here. I said, "All right, we're gonna go up there and try it." And we caught a decent fish up there. Not saying we wouldn't have caught a decent one in the other spot. It's just, that's one thing I always try to tell everybody. Just leave all the drama out of it and be friends with everybody and just talk, and boom, stuff, give everybody credit what credit's due. We had a good time and we caught a good fish. Way far away from where I was going to go fishing.
Well, fill me in. Fill us in on a little kind of what was the area you were fishing, how shallow, how deep, because I know me and Rebecca, we won't go up there. Yeah, we want to go up there and fish it next year, so I'll take all the info you can give me.
In the Ice Bowl, we started out in 20-some foot of water. Matt grabbed the remote from me. He run us up in the stump field, so I was pulling boards out of stumps all day long. You got to work them through there. And then we ended up back in the channel where he didn't want to fish, and then we ended up catching the fish. And he said, "I told you we should have went that stump fields where they were at." And I'm like, "Dude, we're in 20 foot of water, but you know how it is when you're up there with your buddies. You just picking and having a big time."
There you go. But I tell you, for a lot of the ones that tell us a little bit about your new slings. I've got one right here that I was going to show everybody. You know, I'm going to tell you, we have sold a ton of these, and people love them.
They started from actually a friend of mine. He ordered some for somebody, and he got tired of waiting for them. So he was like, "Can you make me one?" I said, "I'll make you one." And so, new slings was a thing, but I was making bow slings. So you know, I'd made a couple rod leashes for some offshore guys, and then COVID hit, and everything went to poo, and I just said I ain't messing with it no more. I hate a knot, and I'm tying knots. So it's weird how stuff works out. And he got some, and somebody else wanted a set, so I let Austin Barnes use a couple. He kayak fishes, and he wanted a shorter one. That's how the bungee sling came out. I said, well, I can make a bungee sling, and it'll still stretch out to 3 foot, but it'd be compact also for everybody. Away we go with it, pretty much.
I tell everybody, I mean, you can wear them for necklaces, going out, with your beautiful lady beside you. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with these things. We love them.
A 4 foot one, she can use it as a dog leash on you.
There you go.
Joke.
There you go.
He probably needs one.
I thought you were going to tell me I needed one.
Yeah.
I want one for my trolling motor remote, and I want one for my kill switch and my keys.
Yes.
So I've tried rod leashes before, but I got this kid who's a freaking tornado. It's crazy dealing with him on the boat. He trips over enough stuff.
So tell us about the new rod that Mad Cat's come out. Have you had an opportunity? I know you behind the scenes probably done a lot of testing and.
Woo, there it is.
Oh, look at there.
There it is.
That's a beautiful thing. Trust me.
The carbine. I got 4 of them strung up, ready to rock this weekend.
Yeah, I got to play with them for a little while. Maybe, I don't know, a couple months before they came out. Testing them out, trying to break them, seeing what they could do and what they couldn't do.
You caught that 72 on it, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. We won. Fish we caught at the Ice Bowl come off one also. And one that has not been released yet, but it came off a couple of.
So what for people that don't know what it is, what you probably have a little more insight than most. What is carbine, and what makes it different than a regular carbon rod?
He has not told me any of the secret formulas or any, believe it or not. It's everybody. The whole rod is 13 ounces. They are a light rod.
Yeah, I've noticed it's really light. It's got a smaller gauge to it.
Yeah, it's a whole lot smaller rod. The grip's different. It's got kind of like a, I don't know.
Like a golf grip. Like a golf
grip. Yeah.
I like the grip. It feels good. I haven't fished with it yet, so I don't know how it's going to ride in the rod holder and all that.
And it's you think it wouldn't ride good, but actually, the wetter it gets, the stickier it gets in your hand. It's just you can't grab it and twist your hands around on it. It just locks right in.
I can tell you from last weekend, we were doing a live, and we were lucky to catch that 58 that we hooked into on the new rod. And I can tell you, with that little night dew on it, I mean, time you got it, I mean, it never budged. I mean, it was there. And that we give that rod a heck of a test, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I love the regular medium action for the way I fish. And so when I got that carbine, I'm like, am I screwing I mean, I have zero complaints about that medium action rod and catching big fish. And the way I fish with planer boards, I like that a little bit softer tip. Made me nervous moving back up to medium heavy. So I still hadn't tested it yet, but I'll start this weekend, and I'm going to give an honest opinion.
Oh,
what
yeah.
I think of it. I mean,
I know.
See, that's like me because I only use medium. That's all I want is medium, and he's medium heavy. So to me, it was a little stiffer, but I mean, I liked it. I really did. It was really weird that first cast I made with it because it's only 13 ounces. So when you were casting, it was almost like, whoa! I mean, it just like, whoa! I really enjoyed it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I literally put that thing to a test. I mean, I was throwing 10 ounce, 8 ounce. I'm talking about just whipping back as hard as I could because I wanted to make sure because we've got rods that we drift with, that we anchor with. I mean, we got different same rod. Mad Catz just a medium heavy. So, and I told her, I said, let's put these things to the test. Let's see what these things are going to do.
But I can't say that grip. I do hands down really like the grip.
Yeah,
I do.
That grip is excellent.
I'm gonna run mine right next to my gremlins are gonna go right next to my goblins. So I will be able to determine which one I like.
Oh yeah.
Better. There's nothing from Mad Catz that I haven't liked so far. So I imagine I'm gonna love it, just like everything else I've got from them. So.
Oh yeah. Every rod has its purpose,
Yeah.
The gremlins versus the regular mediums, they're going to be a little stiffer, but the tip rolls.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because when you grab, you're like, this thing's stiff, but it just reacts different when the fish hits them.
And I know we're talking about the tip. You can tell every little, everything from that tip.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this thing has got a totally different character to that rod. I mean, each rod, from your medium heavies to that, I mean, you can tell it's like it's got character in each rod.
Yeah.
And that one, it really does. But I can tell you can definitely house a big fish with it.
Oh, yeah. You can turn them around with no problem.
I fish with all the actions, and they all do well. Caught big fish on medium lights, mediums, medium heavies. It's all just preference, really. So.
Oh yeah.
And depending on your style of fishing and what your type of structure you're fishing, current, all that. So.
What looks like the current up where you fish, you've got quite a bit of current up in that area. I mean, tell us a little bit about your setup and kind of how you prepare for that current on your anchors.
Where I fish, when y'all see me in current, they're actually generating water. So, at a certain time of year, what they're doing, they are dumping water into the lakes. They dump it into the Roanoke River to raise the water high enough for the rockfish to come up there and spawn, more or less. And during the fall, it's about a 3-month period. They generate 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon. Or then every once in a while, they might do it all day long. Depends on rain and stuff. But it's like the catfish, they're feeding up the spawn, and they know they're going to turn that water loose in those time periods. And all of them just stack up right there and just sit and wait.
Because I know from watching your lives, it kind of looks like you have an area that you love to fish.
Colt, last year it was fire. It was a little slower this year, but I didn't with my truck breaking down and everything we had going on with the family, I didn't really get to get out there and hone it in like I did last year. But yeah, that's my little sweet honey hole. That hole is where Minotaur hooks got started at.
Really?
Yeah. Randy gave me, I think it was the showstopper he gave me first and said, try these out. And you know how it is, Chris. You're used to one thing and you get something new and you're like, it's my buddies. I didn't know it's going to work, but this is my go-to thing. I tried it on and I caught one on it. And I was like, blah, blah, blah. Another one. And then another one. I thought, all right, it's going to work. It's going to work. I'm catching fish on them. And I don't know, it's probably a month after he got it started and was getting it rolling good. I took a friend of mine and his fishing partner ate, and her name happened to be Sue. And we were heading to the little honey hole place I like to anchor up at when that current's running. And she told me, before I die, I want to catch one big fish. And we were on there 5 minutes. I daggone, I 80-pounder hit with 2 generators going in that current. But he came up probably 100 yards behind the boat. And I'm thinking to myself, this ain't never going to happen. He's already up there with his tail turned. I said, and right at that time, it looked probably like a 40-pound fish, you know. He went back down. I said, all right, here we go. He came up again. For a second, I glanced and I was like, holy Jesus. I said, I'm seeing things. He ain't that big. Then he came right up beside the boat and just sat there. And I said, Lord Jesus Christ, I'm one shot at this fish. And he's
Looking you in the eye.
His eyes were big.
And I threw that net down and hit him right in the gut. Boom! There he took off straight to the dam, right in front of the boat, right to the anchor line. I said, thinking to myself, we ain't never getting him in the boat. And it's like the good Lord come up there and put him on top, and he slid just and stopped. And I stuck the net under him and picked him right. Well, I didn't pick him up. I got him in the net, and Mike was with us. Him in the boat. I said, you're gonna have to come out here and help me pull this rascal up in here now. We got it in the boat. We were all pumped up. Got Sue in the back of the boat. We got the fish up, and I was gonna put it in her lap to take a picture with it. And by the time I laid it in the lap, he went to throwing up, peeing and pooping everywhere. And she wanted no more parts of that fish around him.
Oh, man.
You guys grew up on this weekend.
It was like,
Dave Burian says the Big Sue is a bad hook. I'll agree. I've been running that Big Sue the last year. It'll increase your hookup ratio on big fish dramatically. I like to run that one on my Stinger rig. I put that one in the nose, and I put that Carolina Smasher in the tail. So I think both those hooks are almost identical, just slightly different size. You said Big Sue, and Steve said he's caught big fish or 2 on the Big Sue. I know that's right.
Steve is actually the brainchild of how the Big Sue became the hook Randy chose. He had some dealings with that also. Of how he wanted, how it should be turned, and you know, the offset and all that good science.
Yeah, I like an aggressive offset, a wide gap. Those are the 2 most important. I don't like a super thick gauge, and I like how that one's not a real heavy gauge. I think if you got a heavy gauge, it just sinks your bait down weird. And I drag mostly, so I like my bait to look natural, not floating through the water like that. So that's why I like the Big Sue. It's worked great for me.
I have no complaints with it at all. Matter of fact, if I don't have one on the boat, which is I always have one. If I don't have 20 of them on the boat, I feel like I don't need to go fishing.
that's like us. I think we've got 1,000 every time we go. Rebecca's always saying, where'd all these rigs come from? I'm like, we needed some more on the boat.
And just in cases.
Just in case.
Yes, sir.
But if you had anywhere to fish, where would you fish? What would be your dream spot?
If I could go fishing in one place, I would go probably to Alabama in the fall with Steve.
I want to go so bad. I'm from Alabama. That's where I was born. So I was like, I want to take Jamie to go there and look at everything. Gosh. We're going. And we're going with John.
Lord have mercy. John might be throwing both of us out the boat.
That's right.
Him and Steve. I told Rebecca, I want to go and fish with Chris, and I would love to go to Alabama and fish with Steve.
Yeah.
I told her I'd love to go down and fish, what's the Winter Blues in Alabama. I would love to do that this year.
Come on down to Texas, man. January, February. We'll go put 1,000 pounds in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
I can see you flying right now.
I just got to get over the flying thing. I'm so used to driving, flying. I don't know about yet.
You can drive, man. I drove from here to Ohio straight to Texas.
Holy macaroni.
That's what I might have to do.
You
I
don't.
had somebody caught me in the. It ain't. You drive to Ohio, it ain't much different than you just driving straight to Texas. And I ain't even look at it. I got about the y'all. Good God Almighty.
I know when we drove up to CatCon, I was like, man, this thing is long drive up here.
Y'all.
I tell you what, that was a lot of fun up there. It looked like y'all were, man, you were working.
Y'all were working out.
Over in the Mad Cats, man. Y'all looked like y'all went to the gym and y'all were throwing them out. I mean,
They had a line like 30 people long over there, and they had like 4 registers going. I've never seen somebody so busy selling catfishing gear.
I felt bad for John. I was wanting to go there and give him a water break every now and then. Him, Dave, and all of them over there. I was like, man, y'all need some water? Y'all good?
Saturday morning, it looked like a scene from The Walking Dead when them hurried off. Zombies are taking a turn. I said, here they come, boys. But it was a good time, you know, to see where Mad Cats has started and where it's came to and how blessed everybody's been and the hard work and the family relationship that everybody's, you know, made. It was cool. It was cool being there. And to everybody that wants to be pro staff, now it is work involved in this too.
Yeah.
My dogs will bite to kill me Saturday. I was ready.
That's what I told Chris.
No, we went to the hotel and Jamie and they were like, we're going to go down to the Blue Horse and get some dinner. I fell asleep. I was like, oh, God, I wanted to have a drink so bad and I literally fell asleep. I couldn't do it. I was done.
She missed it, didn't she, Chris?
Maybe next time.
But it looked like I believe I texted Matt. Y'all had a flat tire and everything else on the way up. You know, they I believe Dave and all of them said they had a flat tire and everything going on up on that trip.
Yes, they did.
Man,
Me and Emmy,
Look.
you know, separate than them, and I called man. We'll be there in 3 hours, and we were still like 5 hours late, and I beat them there by 2 hours. I called him and said, "Man, we ain't gonna. It's gonna be a while. We blew a trailer tie."
Yeah, y'all were. Who was pulling y'all? Tub?
Tubbs don't know how to go to speed limit.
Oh, Lord.
yeah, we're not gonna get on that part about the speed limit.
He's a good boy.
We kind of tested our gauge out a little bit, also.
I met a policeman.
Bend and tips. It's Elgato 25, buddy. Get 25%.
He's cutting you 15 off of there.
But you're 50-50. Looks
Your 50-50 raffle, you had a beautiful day.
Uh-oh.
You don't remember, John?
We ain't talking about.
You stuck up a thing on, what was it, on TikTok or on YouTube?
on YouTube. You
With
said,
you and your wife. You're like, she won a 50-50 raffle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she got lucky.
She got lucky.
I remind her every day of how lucky she is.
Oh,
I tried to do that, but Rebecca sort of replays reverse psychology on me.
Yeah, she's got you.
She's got me.
Check out this sweet hat I got from somebody awesome.
I do. I got to get me one.
Rebecca, she's pretty good at stitching.
Yeah, she's
all hand
got it down pat now.
It's all hand. No,
Oh, it's-
all hand stitch.
I think today she done right close to what,
I
75
did
today.
74.
Dang.
And the
Four.
fifth one
70,
on the
yeah.
thing.
74 today.
Woo.
So got to keep her busy.
Oh yeah, keep her out of trouble.
That's it.
So,
How long you been on the pro staff with Mad Cats?
About a year. Oh,
Nice.
coming up on a year. I can't remember.
He's like me. I don't know if I go to dates.
been longer than that, man.
You know, when you get old, you don't keep up with time anymore. It's just everything flies by. A year feels like a month, and a month feels like a day. But it's been a journey. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed meeting everybody.
Yeah, Mad Cat's family's a good group for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've met a lot of people, that's for sure, with Mad Cats and stuff. I mean, all over the country, just talking to the people and stuff. It's been a real good group, that's for sure.
Bob says hello, Miss Rebecca, Jamie, Chris, and JBN.
What's up?
My boy Jeff Martin, he's a local. What's up, Jeff? He had a question a while ago, asked if you guys ever suspend your planer boards over the thermocline.
All the time when we get it.
Yeah, so here in Texas, we generally get a thermocline starting about probably mid-June.
Yeah.
And we'll suspend over the thermocline. We try to get out around those sand bass where they're schooling up and just fish right below them. They generally get out. They move off of structure about this time of year. They move out into open water with the thread fin because they kind of become pelagic type fish and move away from structure, get up off the bottom, and we will run them like that. It's kind of a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth, to fish that way, but sometimes that's the only way you can catch fish. So,
John, I know I learned about the thermocline the hard way during a tournament down on Lake Tillery.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering, man, where is everybody? Then I started looking. I was on a certain part of the whole deal right by ourselves. And come to find out, I was actually fishing the thermocline up above it.
come on.
During that big tournament that night.
Yeah.
And that's where I first started learning about that thermocline, because it was just a weird fishing.
It's different. It's definitely different.
So what I've been doing probably the last 3 years, when I find the thermocline, I generally move out of the open water where that thing is, and I will go more shallow until I run out of thermocline, and then, or there's only about a foot of it, and then I'll fish that, because there's a little stun zone in that thermocline where fish get lethargic, and fish will go down into it. They just won't stay into it. So it can be great fishing right there on that thermocline. And, some of the best fishing I've done is when that thermocline is like on a ledge, and those fish are basically using that ledge to ambush stuff and push it down into that thermocline and get it all stunned and then feed on it. So thermocline can be your friend, but it also can be a pain in your butt.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And we actually ended up with 3 nice fish by kind of what you were just talking about during that tournament. We found, that certain point to where we found where they were. So
Anthony Kelly said JBN needs to send me more feet pics.
oh my
Wish for. Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. He just released a new mod.
Yeah,
He did.
I'll send him my cash app after we get off this show.
Some of these guys might not know what thermocline is. Basically, thermocline is when the water stratifies. Summertime, you get a lot of heat on the top. Cold water kind of goes down, and it just won't circulate if you don't have just a ton of wind. So it stratifies, and that lower, colder water just loses its oxygen, and there's nothing that will go down into it. It's just a dead zone. You can fish slightly into it, but if you fish 10 feet down into it's like fishing on the moon. So that's basically what the thermocline is for guys that aren't familiar with it.
It is basically a phenomenon us no current lake boys have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yep.
How how do you set yourself up to fish that Sturmacline? I mean, what have you found that works best for you?
I fish it if they're in there, but most of the time I do kind of like what Chris is talking about. Always the lake I mainly fish, the deepest holes is 50 foot. Normally it'll set up around 30 foot in all lake. So the whole middle of the lake is 4 foot. And it's got little deep channels and they're about 25. So if I can get in there and the fish are in there, I don't have to really worry about it. But if I want to go to the dam and fish and they're stacked up in there, I'll suspend, or I have line counters on my reels and I'll drop 2 of them down and just work them and get them like I want to. And there we go. We'll put boards out and float them around. And in the summertime, I'll also pull one board with no weight on it at all with about 25 foot of line out and just float one back well.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of guys doing really good with not fishing on bottom.
Yeah.
Just in the summer at pro spawn, fishing up on top with some type of bait that looks similar to a clam or something like that. They say a little fluttering piece does really good. I don't fish that way, but I do know some guys that fish that way and do great.
Sometimes that's the only thing you'll get a bite on, and then you'll go 5 times and won't nothing touch it. But if you're pulling 4 boards on one side, like most of the boys do around here, it don't hurt to have that one that's way on off out of your way. Go ahead and your first long board, go ahead and float that one if you're gonna float one, I would say.
Your longboards, what's your distance you normally set up on your longboards? Do you have different, distance, how you set yours up?
It depends on the boat traffic. I learned from my buddy Steve, get them away from the boat. If you can see them, they're too close.
That's it.
Yeah, that's how I do it, man. Guys are like, I can't believe you put your boards out so far. I'm like, well, the furthest one generally catches the biggest fish.
Weird how it works out, but yep.
But I'll say this year I've put kicker rods out on the side with no boards, just straight back.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many giants I caught off of those 2 kicker rods. And I've never run them like that because it was a slow day. And I'm like, I'm just going to maximize. I'm going to put some out. And I don't even run them long. Like I'll put my 2 inside long lines long, but those kicker rods, I put them fairly short. I'd say the bait's sitting about at my shortest planer board. It's where my bait's sit, and that thing just got smoked this year. And I'm thinking, I've been doing this for so damn long. Why haven't I done this before?
Yep.
So,
and
try it, guys. It works.
And everybody's talking about bumping and stuff. I myself down in Santee, I found something that works for us. I got 4 rods out the back, no boards or nothing. I've got 2 of them that is actually not far behind the motor. And I don't know why, we've caught a lot of big fish off of those, but I found since they're so close as you drag it seems to have a lot more action.
Yeah.
And it's almost like taking a bumping rod, just sitting there and bumping. And I found that those 2 that's right behind the motor, straight down pretty much, with all that action, they get hit quite a bit. And that's just for us trying different things, but we've had a lot of good luck off of that.
That's when I'm pulling boards, my normal spread, I'll have 2 boards on each side, and I'll have 2 on the bottom straight out the back. 1 short and 1 long. That's 6 rods is normally what I run when I'm by myself or just out there fun fishing, and that's basically how I run them.
That's it. You can watch the rods. they're just constantly just jumping. And it's like I told Rebecca, it's like, you got something down there that's injured. It's just constantly looks like it's flat.
I like when that kicker rod goes down because it's like slammed. It's like a jet ski grab that thing.
That's it.
It's trying to spin your rod holder. It's trying to you can see that multi-bar flexing. It's like, yeah.
The only thing
I don't know
that-
why. I've always said I caught my biggest fish on my longest planer boards, but I also put my biggest bait on those. But that kicker ride this year, I gotta say, I've caught just as many big fish on those kicker rides this year as I ever have on my long planers. And I've been running these planer boards for 8 years. So
The only thing that worries me about we've gotten so close is actually the prop on the boat. You know,
Yeah.
because running them so close right behind the boat, you know, when it gets hit, you worry, hope it's a
yes,
straight down and not a curvature hit, you know.
try letting a 7-year-old try to bring in a giant.
John, what's been your funniest trip so far this year? And I can probably wonder who was with you on your funniest trip this year, but
Whew, they're all about equal, believe it or not. Every
Lord.
trip entertaining. But when you get me and Randy together, it ain't no telling what's gonna happen. I've had to keep him in the boat when it's 32 degrees outside. If we catch a 60, I'm going swimming. I'm thinking, I hope we get him.
You might just have to let him go swimming. And we would love to see that on video.
And you know, most folks will say that mess, but when your buddy gets out of the car to get in the boat with an extra change of clothes, and he's done said that, you're like, here we go, boys.
It looks like y'all eat pretty good. I mean, I'm constantly y'all, you know, cooking hot dogs or all kinds of stuff.
That's it. Randy, he's the chef on the boat. The last trip he cooked, probably 30 bratwursts and 4 folks on the boat. I had to get the oven clean on it and clean my center console windshield off where all the grease had splashed up on it, but it was a big time.
I wouldn't be worth nothing if I eat all them. I'll be over here asleep.
All
We
we
went
eat is
throwing
chips and
can of chili up there. The boy had it all.
Man,
we basically eat chips and beef jerky on my boat.
Ain't nothing wrong with some beef jerky.
Maybe a honey bun for breakfast.
We got to have Star Crunches.
that's it. You
We
don't.
Star Crunches, we don't catch anything.
My buddy Jeff said, you ever had a boat or jet ski run through your planer boards? And I can tell you, I was on a live stream and I had a drunk that circled my boat and cut it. It was just dragging. I freaking came unglued because I had my son on the boat, and I was like, if this guy gets any closer, I'm about to board his ship like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Daggone.
But he cut off my stuff. Guys were like, I hope you had braid on. I drag with mono, but
yeah.
So yes, I get somebody every year get into my stuff. Usually it's sand bass fishermen. They think everybody on the lake is sand bass fishing, and they want to get right next. They look at my boat and they're like, he got to be a guide. I'm going to go fish 20 feet from him.
All in your mess.
I can't stand it, but it is, it is what it is.
John, looked like you had a video not too long ago of boats coming by y'all while y'all were fishing, and
oh yeah, all the time. And it's the worst part. I don't think they intentionally know what they're doing. It's just you get guys got a boat. We're gonna go boating, and they see you. Well, I'm gonna slow down, so they just pick the biggest wake up they can, and they don't mean to wake you out because they don't know they're waking you out. They think they actually, hey, I'm gonna be courteous and nice to these guys, and we're over there like, you assholes. Just keep it on top.
Just keep going.
Ignorance is bliss.
Don't think. I've had a jet ski try to grab one of my planer boards one time. I was dragging, and I swear to God, it looked like a biker gang of them. They come around the curve, they're all in formation. I said, what in the world? Summertime, I suspend one. So I had a bait probably 4 foot with a big suit under my outside board. And that dude coming there showing off. And I'm like, I ain't had a bite all day. I'm like, please grab it. I just want to hear this drag just squall one time. He went down there and I looked at him and he just eased on off. I was like, God dang, I can't even get a jet ski bite today, boys.
I tell you, I would hate to grab one of your planer boards. I know how tall and how big of a person you are. I can imagine you running up behind one of them.
Heck, me and Dave, we had a guy steal one at Kerr Lake. We broke one off, and Dave runs about 10, 12 boys. He got boys all over the place. That's what y'all Santee style fishing.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave said, "Well, it's floating. We'll come back and get it in a minute." And I said, "All right." Once we finish this drag, we were sitting there. Dave said, "I know goodness well that guy ain't stealing my board." Dude reached down and wow. I said, "Well, there's one of them gone, Dave."
He relieved y'all of some boards.
That's right.
Man.
I don't know what in the world, boy. Those Virginia boys are different type of guys, man. I'm telling y'all.
Texas guys will do the same thing, man. I probably had 50% of the boards that I break off, somebody picks up before I'm done with my drift.
And grab, yeah.
Grabs it and leaves. And I can see him, half a mile back. I'm like, that son of a bitch is getting my board right now. What are you going to do? I got 10 lines out, and it's going to take me 10 minutes to reel up.
You're exactly right. There ain't nothing you can do. They'll have that board and gone before you can do anything.
I put my name on them, too. And, even if I lose the thing, I've only you lose them. They're just part of it. But out of all the ones I've lost, I've only had one somebody called me back on.
Mm-hmm.
So they just keep it. I don't. A lot of people don't even know what the hell it is.
Yeah. I think most of them think it's like a noodle or something. I don't know what they're doing with them.
They pick it up and they're like, "Man, what is this? I'm gonna cut an orange with it or something."
It's a pizza cutter.
It's a pizza cutter.
I've had folks drive up beside the pontoon. "Hey, what are those things right there?" God,
John, what's some of your PBs? Tell us, about some of your big blues, your flathead. What's your PBs, my friend?
I don't even want to talk about flatheads. I got the flathead curse on me.
Oh no.
Flathead is probably, I think it's 26 pounds. We could go to a lake and it'd be 50 pounders floating around the boat, just swimming around it, and I fell in the water and I'd fall on a 10. That's just how my luck is. I cannot catch one. Which where we live at, we don't have them. We've got a few in the lakes, but you got to go by, I don't know, 2 hours maybe to get to somewhere that's really like a flathead fishery. So I've never fished for them, never nothing. I've probably been actually flathead fishing 7 times where I was actually trying to catch one. I can catch some dinks now, but I ain't got me a bull yet. Oh, the blues. We're blessed with them up here. And you can catch them all day long, 20, 30 pounds most of the time. And then you'll get into them. A big one where I fish at is probably going to be 50, 60 upper end. You'll catch an 80. It's bigger fish than that in there, but I ain't got him yet. I'm still looking for her. She's playing hard to get. I got a game.
That's like Rebecca. She loves her flatheads, and everybody knows that I love my blues. And last weekend, we caught that big old blue. She's like, "Man, I like that." I'm trying to bring her over to catching the blue side.
He wouldn't even let me hold it. I wanted to hold the fish. He wouldn't let me.
Getting to hug them's the best part when you get to hug.
Yeah, until they
No,
all over
it was
you.
funny because when we caught the fish, I said, "We need to name this fish Chris because its eyes were all plopped out of its head."
Those are the best ones. The big bug-eyed.
He was sprayed up all over his face. I think he
Those
did
are
have
beautiful to
me.
Big, like meaty lip. That's like the.
Yeah.
It was your fish, Chris. It was yours.
And we were sitting there, we were holding it. I'm like, "God, what is that smell?"
Yeah, no, he picked it up and I went, "Oh my God, Jamie!" And I was like, "This fish stinks, guys." And I thought Jamie just ripped one. It was horrible.
And all over my Mad Cat
threw
shirt,
up.
everything. I'm like, oh.
It all over the bottom of the boat. It was horrible.
My buddy Jeff said, "Do you guys prefer locking clips on your planer boards or the ones that pop out?" So
A lock and clip man.
lock and clip. I like the ones that release. I use the Scotty clips.
I like the lock and clips myself.
I'm lazy. Well, I like lock and clip. if my bull pops loose on a weight, I just lose it. Just when we go tournament fishing, just leave me alone. Get out of my way until the spread's out. After that, we're gonna laugh and have a good time. That 10-minute window right there, I am just as ill as a hornet.
I don't really have a problem with the Scotty clips popping out while they're going out or anything, but I've tried them both ways, and the locking clip for me, when I got so much crap out there, and when we're really on good big fish, you get 2 or 3 of them on, and you're trying to reel them in, and that damn board's pulling it into the next one. You can't control the fish through your spread. Tangling multiple shit drives me crazy, and I just tangle my stuff more when I got locking clips. I like to be able to pop that thing off and then strategically bring a big fish through my spread. I get the benefit of the locking clip, but for me, I just prefer one that pops loose. So
yeah, you're talking about when you're starting to set your boards out, Rebecca. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Don't even talk." Don't.
That is a no talk zone.
Because I've got to have every one of them at a
Yeah.
certain length.
that's like a symphony.
Yeah,
Everything's got to go just right. Don't mess with me.
and she's
No,
there.
whenever we fish, I always have the right side of the boat. He has
Yeah.
the left side of the boat. But when we go to set boards, I can't touch nothing. He will not.
Even my buddies that are really good anglers, when they come on the boat, I'm like, they're like, just let me help. I'm like, the best help you can do is just sit down and let me work.
Yeah,
And, because it ain't gonna go good if you screw up our spread, and it takes me about 6 minutes to get everything out. If you screw that up, it's 6 minutes of untangling crap, and then 6 more minutes. Now we're talking losing 20 minutes of fishing time, and I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I'm over there crisscrossing rods as we're going out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, we're going. Okay, yep. So, especially if I'm in the river and I'm setting out boards, I love it. It's easy. I can sit, anchored up and set my boards. Just let the currents put them out. That is easy. And everybody on the river is looking, we talked about before. People don't do that here. And everybody's like, what are y'all doing? Setting your boards out. And, we do a lot of fishing our planing boards on anchor also.
Oh yeah. Well, me setting the boards out, I'm just a control freak. That's all it is. I mean, it ain't no need to sugarcoat it. It's with me. He's fished with me long enough and does it perfect, and the spread will be identically perfect like I want to. And I got to go to his side and bump a foot of line like it ain't right unless I set it, lock the reel. Oh, it's perfect now. And I moved the board about that far.
I'm surprised Matt's not back there playing with the other boards while you trying to set this out.
No, he will. That's a big time, boy. Especially, when you fish with somebody that's been around somebody long enough, you know how to push the buttons just to get it going. Turn around, look, and you're like, God, here we go. Oh, Matt's favorite thing is, because he knows I hate the ankle fish, is we'll get the boards out and we'll go about 100 yards. All right, they ain't biting. Let's go get on ankle 9. Like, God almighty, here we go. And we just do it all. It's just one of the things we do the whole time. We ain't ankle fishing yet, man. I guarantee we'd have caught 10 by now.
Oh man, I can imagine.
It's a big time. I enjoy fishing with different folks because, everybody you fish with, all of us do it a little different. And then you end up picking up one thing Chris might do. I might like, hey, this is pretty cool what Chris is doing. And I'll just implement it into what I'm doing a little bit. And the next thing you know, you got this grand scheme of knowledge out everywhere.
I think that's cool too, man. Used to, everybody really hid all their little tricks, and even when you're on their boat, they're like over there hiding. But times have changed. I think guys are a lot more the newer generation's a lot more open to giving away and sharing secrets. Now, guys will teach you whatever, and you can go fish with them. And like you said, you may shut 99% of it, but that one little thing, you add it to your repertoire. And
Yep,
you do that with enough guys, it changes the way you fish.
it does. It's when I'm with somebody new that's a good fisherman. Like when I went with Cook that one time, it won't where you're fishing at, is why you fishing him. You know, that's the main thing. Everybody wants to know your spot, but it's really more about why you fishing this spot right now. And he is a catfish nerd. Steve's a catfish nerd. That's what I call him, because it's just Chris, you're probably a catfish nerd. I just ain't fished with you.
You know it. You know it.
You tell that big old grin, yeah, I am.
Oh, them fish over here because the wind's blowing out the east at 10 and the water runs.
Yeah.
And the sun's been shining over there 30 minutes longer than over here, so that water's warmer. That's where we're going to catch them in.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I generally have at least a few anglers that I've taken under my wing that I'm trying to help get it ironed out. And, at a certain point, I tell them, I'm just not going to give you the spots.
Oh, yeah.
I've given you the knowledge. I want to
Yep.
see you take the knowledge
And put it in
now
there.
put it to work and go
Yep.
catch your own, go find your own fish, go catch your own fish. You got everything. You already know everything it takes.
Yep.
Just go do it. And if you can go do that yourself, the light bulb goes off and you'll be off and running basically
Right.
from then on.
Yes, sir.
What
Cow.
all do you look for when you go to a new place? I mean, what's the first things you start looking for? When you're on new water.
If I'm at a new lake I have never fished before, 90% of the time I'm throwing the boards out and running a ledge somewhere here or there. I'm looking for a ledge with maybe a ditch popping off or some humps in it. Just a flat with some contrast to it, more or less, if that makes any kind of sense. And then just trying to figure it out, or maybe looking for a temperature break, depends on what time of year it is. Winter time, if you can find warmer water, that's where they're gonna be at most of the time anyway.
Yeah. I know a lot when sometimes in the wintertime, I'll maybe anchor fish early that morning and then start the round probably 9 or 10 to move over to the dragon.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Is that something that you kind of, work off of, or did you just go straight dragon?
If I'm on a new lake, I'm dragging. I'm not anchoring because I have no idea what's going on. I'm just new place. I'm just covering water, trying to figure something out. But on like my local lakes I fish, I do anchor up quite a bit in the wintertime. Unless if the fish are muddy or buried, I'm dragging. I think when they're buried up, you're dragging. You up your odds because he's not moving. He ain't. Oh, I smell this bait. I'm getting out of the mud. I'm gonna swim up 30 yards. I want to hit him in the nose with a Carolina lake weight, make him mad, run a short lead, and make him bite it.
There you go.
I think dragging and anchoring kind of you're going off two different philosophies. I used to anchor for I don't know, 15, 20 years almost. I anchored, and we always went to like an ambush spot where we thought they were going to come through.
Yeah.
But with the advent of side image sonar, the way that you can see things on grass now, I now look for the biomass, which is basically 90% of the fish are in 10% of the lake. And if you can find that 10% of the lake and you drag that, your opportunity to catch fish dramatically increases. You no longer are catching one or two decent good ones. Now you're hammering big fish, and it's going to be constant, until that bite window ends for that specific day. But I think there is a little difference between dragging and anchoring. Anchoring, you're going for ambush spots or a little piece of timber that you think they're going to move into and feed. And dragging, I'm going for the biomass, where a giant conglomerate of fish of all species are all using each other to feed together. that's how my game's changed in the last 15 years with that side image.
And like myself, I guess we were talking last weekend about bringing some of that river fishing over to the lake fishing. It's hard to do, but always anchoring all the time and knowing what fish you catch when you do anchor on certain areas or something. It's hard to just go straight, to drag. Sometimes we've actually done very well off of that morning bite by anchoring in a ditch mouth or something, some kind of structure like, you're talking about, Chris, being in a certain area and then going over to that drift. Now, covering a lot more water during a tournament, you got to catch the fish faster. It's a chance that you take by doing some anchoring and then switching over to that dragging. But if you're going to anchor, you better have that first spot right.
Donovan says, "What's biomass?" So biomass is basically where a large group of fish congregate together. They use each other synergistically when they hunt. The sand bass, the striper, whatever the predominant prey or predator species is in that lake, blue cats will follow them around and just get easy meals. So if you can find the areas in the lake where that biomass is, and it can be sand bass with black bass on the outside and giant, catfish or smaller catfish underneath the biomass with the larger fish on the outsides. It's just being able to locate that biomass. When you see it, your graph lights up like a freaking Christmas tree. There's no question. You're like, oh, I don't even know what I'm looking at. There's just fish everywhere. That's the biomass. So when you see it, you know what it is, and you think, oh man, it's just perfect day. But usually the biomass is somewhere in the lake. You just finding it is the trick.
I know you can spend quite a bit of time trying to find those, Chris, or do you normally know exactly certain areas? I mean, John, y'all know where the areas to go straight to?
I put a game plan up every time I go fish. Even on my home lake, I have A, B, C, D. The more you fish a fishery, the better you know the lake, their home zones, where they're going to be. But weather patterns, lake temperature, all that plays a big decision on where I'm going to fish. It pushes the fish into different types of areas. So usually I can go on any lake in Texas. Before I go, I'll have 5 spots picked out, and 90% of the time fish are going to be in one of those 5 spots. Now, it may not be the first spot, but I can systematically check it down and eventually find them. Occasionally, 10% of the time, I got to go look. And that's when you'll see me graph for 2, sometimes 3 hours before I'll even get a line wet. It's just guys that fish with me are like, damn it, Chris, this has gotten ridiculous. And then we find them and they're like, I get it.
Yeah.
So,
John, when you prepping for a tournament or just traditionally every day going fishing, what do you look for as far as having your baits and how to find and all that?
If I'm going to my home lake, I am stubborn. That's why I'm trying to branch out a little more. I know I'm going here and I'm going there, and if they ain't there, they're over here. Because I fished it so much, and it's kind of a small body of water.
it's a good lake too, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you branch out, it's because you need to go to a better fisheries.
I really don't need that. If I will say I can catch probably 100-pounder in that lake if I sit there and fish it enough. But it gets boring to me hitting the same spot. Sometimes you just need a break, because once you keep doing that, and then the next thing you know, you got 15 folks. You're dragging and you get 15 boats behind you constantly.
It's a good challenge going to a different fishery.
Yes. It's good for the soul, because it's like you're getting a rut. I know I'm going to catch these 30s here, and then you're like, oh, that ain't blah. You lose that excitement you had when you first started. You catch a 20-pounder, and you were the man. Yes, sir.
Yeah, victory.
Yeah, now that's a dang. And you,
When you prepping for your tournaments, do you normally go up a day or two to pre-fish quite a bit, or do you normally just kind of? What's your preparation for it?
the last couple of tournaments, we normally go up there 2 or 3 days ahead of time and boodle around, see what's going on. I really do not tournament fish much anymore. When you see me with Matt, that's about the only times I tournament fish. If I go to a tournament, it's more or less I'm there to see the community, have fun, joke around, shake some hands, sign some mamas, kiss some babies, or all that good stuff. I'm not one of the top guru of the world tournament guys.
So
It's just,
you walk around with your Sharpie signing the baby heads. And
that's right. Just like
poets.
I told you, I'm a control freak. So when they tell me I've got to be back at the dock at 3:30, I don't like that. When I go fishing, I want to say when I'm coming back in. But no, it's different. But yeah, definitely when we do them, we'll go down there 3 days ahead of time and go check this cove. One of the guys that I've learned something from, I won't say his name because he might get mad at me for giving one of the tips away, is he tells me when you're on a big body of water, don't look at it as a big body of water. Pick you one place out and learn that one little place.
Yeah, that's how I've had to do it. We got a big lake here called Lake Texoma. If you think you're going to run all over that lake looking, you're going to waste half the day. It's just too big to do that. Find a section, pick that section apart. There's generally going to be fish in every section, just on a big fishery like that. So being able to break down each section, you're right about that for sure. Donovan says that he's found that he's only going fishing on a perfect day that he knows he'll catch big fish, mainly because he fishes the same lake over and over. And, I get that, but Donovan, go when you can because fishing is good for you. And some of my greatest days have been on days that you shouldn't have been out there fishing. It just, everything stacked against you. For whatever reason, the fish are like, I'm going to bless this guy. He's the only guy on the lake today. And I'm going to put a bunch of big ones in the boat for him. So just go when you can, man. You never know when they're going to really bite. And some of my best days are on days that you shouldn't even be out there. So
I know, like I said, me taking Rebecca, she's beside me. I enjoyed that. That's my fishing partner. And John, I know I've seen pictures of you and your wife, going fishing and stuff. I know that has be a lot of fun for y'all also, man.
Oh yeah. She likes to cast though. She likes to cast. She says it's boring. She likes to cast. Now she's giving me the finger right now.
So she's back here with that cat rod just constantly like, yeah.
How does that work with you being the control freak?
Who? Last year, like we were just talking about, go whenever you can go. It was during the spawn, and I knew we weren't gonna catch nothing, but she had time to go, so we went out, and I'm pulling a couple rods, and I catch a 5-pound bass, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. And I think I had 3 catfish and him in the bottom of the boat, and I had 1 rod left out. And it's just a mess back there. I had a little 17-foot Starcraft at the time. She's in the front laying out, and one comes up and crushes the planer board. Now I'm fighting, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we go. Probably the biggest fish fighting-wise. I never got to see it. I got it to the boat once. It took off. I got it back to the boat, and I'm hollering at it, give me the net. And he's right on the side of the boat. He's just burying down. I said, get the net. And she looked at me. I'm laying out. The net's right there beside you. And I could not literally turn around and grab the net. And he got under the boat. And I reckon he cut the line on one of the rivets or something, but I ain't never get to see him.
It's trips like that. I tell, you got to have, a lot of memories from that trips. That's a lot of fun. And I tell Rebecca, you know, I get, I guess, into when we go fishing, I'm always like trying not to be serious, but yet I get serious.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just relax, have fun? And I'm like, how you do that? You know, I'm wanting to catch these monsters.
Yep.
So I've got her always, you know, sitting there going, let's just have fun today. Don't even worry about the ground.
We'll have fun when we start catching some big ass fish.
That's it.
That's when the
So my buddy Jeff says, how do you break down a new body of water? JBN, when you go to a new fishery,
if I'm
what do
going
you,
new
what do you
fish,
do the night before or the day of? Or like,
new
how do you
fish,
decide where you're going to fish?
I fish lakes because I will pull up my Navionics and I'm looking for some ditches, some darn troughs and flats. I want to see maybe a little secondary ditch coming over here and a flat, just somewhere where he can get in, get out, and go, more or less. Kind of.
A little highway of some sort.
With an overpass and an exit ramp, more
Yeah.
or less.
That's kind of how I do it. And my depth changes depending on season and all that. So,
And then when I get there, if I look and I don't see no bait, I go on, let's go find it.
Yeah.
First, I want to find where the bait is. If I can find where the bait is, I know I'm going to catch something eventually.
That's it. Because you know they're going to be right around that bait somewhere. Just, it's a matter of time.
So our lake's chock full of bait. And I always hear guys say, just go find the bait and you'll find the fish. But I'm like, there's bait every 10 feet in my lake. Are you telling me I just pull up to the ramp and go out and start fishing? I'm going to catch fish?
Please, baby.
I wish. It don't work that way. But, yeah, you got to find the bait, but you got to find the fish with the bait. That's for damn sure.
I've noticed on that little lake I fish a lot of times, if I can find small schools of striper, it's like the bigger fish are behind them, just letting them do the work for them, and they're just picking whatever they want to off.
You'll also notice that those bigger fish are actually there eating the striper.
They like them too.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't know. That's what I've heard.
It probably ain't the most Christian thing to do, but they will eat them.
Yeah, JBN, I've been known to speed.
Yeah.
I've been known to speed my truck from time to time too. So
they love them.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah,
and guys, if y'all haven't subscribed, go check out our channel. Subscribe if you would. Give us a thumbs up, and definitely.
So,
I need to fish Santee some. I ain't never fished at Santee. That's another bucket list.
Rebecca says she catches her biggest fish sleeping.
That's the way. Do not go to on my pontoon. Nothing ever good happens if you go to sleep on the pontoon.
Oh,
I've
God.
heard about that. Let me tell you, when she goes to sleep, she's right, because the fish are trying to figure out if there's a thunderstorm coming.
First you tell
That's a lot.
Her snoring's really not that loud, but
It's got a great bass.
but you know, Santee's a lot of fun. It really is. But I can tell you, it will kick your butt too. It really would.
The best lakes are some of the hardest to fish.
You know, we fish Santee quite a bit. And don't get me wrong, we love it. I mean, we love the challenge. And that's why we go down there as much as we do. And, you know, like Dave coming from Santee area and stuff, and, you know, he'll tell you too, you kind of got to know that pattern, what the fish are doing certain times, what's the wind pattern. You know, these fish might be stacked on the north side, or, you know, it's all just different characters that plays in that lake. It's just crazy.
I even learned something from fishing with Dave.
Do tell.
he has taught me how to back drag. So I am a Santee back dragger on my lake now. And it messes everybody's mind up when you drag regular. But when you put it in reverse with the big motor and go to dragging, them boys are like, what in the hell was
My buddy
But-
Jeff says, do y'all prefer to drag with the wind or against? He has trouble keeping a good spread pulling with the wind. I do it both ways.
I was about to say we're both ways ourselves. You know,
Mhm.
you might make one drag going with the wind, but as soon as you turn around,
You might get a firefight.
it might start firing off pretty quick.
If I'm fishing a smaller area, like up against a dam wall, and I need to be more precise, I'll go against the wind and I'll go very slow, almost like I'm anchored, but I can keep it in that sweet spot longer. Or if I'm drifting like a point, I'll put my nose into the wind, I'll pull out into the wind, into the deeper water, and I just go super slow when I'm doing it. If I'm in an area where there's a ton of fish and it's really windy, I fish with the wind because our fish orient into the wind and they're feeding bait that's coming to them. I will fish it both ways, but I will catch more fish on a windy day if I'm fishing with the wind than if I'm trying to fish against it. I've had days where one works better than the other, but that's basically it. If it's really windy, I'm fishing with the wind, and I'm not worried about my spread. I'm more worried about finding the fish. If I can find the fish, I don't have to worry about having a huge spread. I'm hammering them.
That's right.
I'm on them. Now, if I don't know where the fish are and I'm just trying to cover a huge swath, spread is more important. But to me, the most important part of it is finding them. And, once you find them, you don't have to go fast. You don't have to have a big spread.
Nope.
It's just finding the right area.
John, how much do you play with your control? I mean, your speed and stuff when you pull boards and stuff. How much do you play around with your speeds?
I try to match the water temperature pretty much. If it's over 70 degrees, I'll turn up, slow it down, and play with it. But I'm normally in the wintertime, rain 0.4 most of the time during the winter, somewhere in there, just bumping the rain. If we're on
That's how I roll.
speed up and rolling, because I ain't looking to catch fish. I'm looking to catch one big one that's ready to eat, and let's go. I'm looking for 2 fish, and that's all.
They move a little slower, and they don't go as far to get bait when
Yep.
it's cold. I think giving it an extra, I'll even go 0.3. I've even gone 0.2 where you're barely even moving.
He's looking around. If the wind's blowing, it blow me backwards into the spread. But yeah, heck, I've caught them. I put the trolling motor on the 10 to make a big loop, because I'm being lazy because I don't want to reel all this spread in.
Yeah.
Don't the loop going 2 miles an hour before. It just really depends on what they want, But normally, I match what the water temperature is.
Yeah,
Now-
summertime I'll go 0.6, and if it's super windy and there's a storm blowing in, I'll even go 0.7. Now, that's generally too fast for me, but sometimes if you're fishing big wind, even with all the socks that I got on my boat, you can't go slower than that. And I'll use the trolling motor to slow me down a little bit and all that. But as it gets colder, the colder it gets, the slower I go. And if I'm really on them, I don't need to go fast. I need to go slower. If I know I'm in a good area, I'll slow it down.
Is it?
I have learned one thing from everybody I have fished with. Don't think anything you're doing is stupid. If you got an idea of track, they're going to end up biting it. Because goddamn, like even Steve's told me some mess he does. And I said, that is the stupidest crap I've heard in my life. Girls everywhere. I'm like, well, it works. Go up there in 2 foot of water. I still can't fish shallow water for some reason. But they're up there. Now, it's fun. It's because I ain't saying everything works, but it's like it's no solid law. You got to do it this way.
That's
Now,
it.
There's a million ways to catch a catfish.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's finding what works for you and then trying to improve on that. And then, you can add little wrinkles and other techniques that other guys are using. But I think if you want to be good, you got to figure out one way to do it and try to get good at that way first. And then, add the other pieces to the puzzle. Catfishing is a lifelong journey. You will never stop learning. I've been doing it for my whole life. I still fish different every year. Every year. From the last year, I fish a little bit different. The way I fished 3 or 4 years ago is completely different than the way I fish today. So never be afraid to try to improve and change, because if you're not changing, you're moving backwards in this thing. This catfish thing.
If you're not pulling chicken, you ain't fishing, baby.
That kind of leads me right into my next question. I ask this all the time, John. If somebody just wanting to get into catfishing, what advice would you give them?
If they just want to go catch one, get some chicken.
Get some chicken.
Yes, they will eat chicken. If you just want to catch a catfish, they will eat the living pea out of chicken if they're feeding on mussels, I would say. But if you're just getting into it, are they going to be bank fishing, or are they going to be on a boat, or
just pretty much a boat? Just getting in the boat. What are they going to be trying to do? I mean, if any advice whatsoever for them.
I would just get in. I just basically just use what you can afford. Go out there, have fun, have your buddy with you, have somebody to blame your failures on, because there's going to be a ton of. I just basically just go out there and have a good time. Don't go out there trying to think you're going to be the next king of this, and never try to compare what you're doing to somebody else. Just do your thing.
That's it, right there.
Just being in the catfishing world already, we don't need another one. There's a Chris already. There's a Steve.
If you're going to try to compare yourself to someone else, you're going to be a miserable angler.
It is. God, I'd be in the same asylum right now if I just go out there and enjoy it, have fun. That's the main thing with it.
And just because one guy does it one way and is successful doesn't mean you have to do it that way either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
The way I started fishing, guys were laughing at me pulling planer boards 8 years ago, and now look at here we are 8 years later. There ain't a boat on the lake that's catfishing that doesn't have planer boards. So
that's right.
They used to laugh and say you're trolling for catfish, and now everybody's trolling for them and nobody's laughing. So what's the next thing going to be? Well, all these guys are going laughing at the rattle. Now everybody's using a rattle, and I don't know it's moving so fast. Who knows what's coming next? But I'm not going to be afraid to use it when it hits. I'm going to be trying new things and anything that's going to give me an edge. I'm going to try to implement it into my game.
Back in the days, I used to fish tournaments back in the days, not to win them. I went to the tournaments to see big catfish get brought in. I'd be foot whip, but I'd come up there, and when them boys start pulling them fat girls, man, whoo, I was just as happy as they were. I just gave this man $100 so I could see this fish right here. I mean, honestly, that's what it was for me. It was weird seeing something that big coming out of the river or the lake, more or less.
Russell says, what do you guys prefer, short leaders or long leaders? And I'll go ahead and add, and why?
I do. Depends on the time of the year. Wintertime, I tend to run shorter leaders because I think that my reasoning is they're not moving, so I'm just more or less getting a reaction strike out of them. From the dragon weight, actually. I think the dragon weight pisses him off and he just bites whatever comes to his face next. So
what's a short leader for you? 18 inches?
Yeah, about 18 inches. And
I'd agree with that.
Summertime, I just play around to find out what they want. I'll run a 2 foot leader. I'll run a 2.5 foot leader. I might run an 18-inch leader. I just play around with them.
I also like to be able to move my rattle up and down. So on a day where there's no wind and I know they're laying in the mud, I can see them on the graph on the bottom. I'll shorten my stuff up where I'm basically on the bottom. But I don't generally go over 3 feet. I got a lot of buddies that'll drift a 5 or drag with a 5 foot leader. I'm like, that's too long for me. And they catch fish.
Oh yeah.
But I catch fish too on mine. So
my long leader, I get the leader line and I go arm span with it. And then
that's about how I do it.
long one.
Now, how much color do you have on your leaders? Do you like a lot of color, a lot of rattles, or do you like a basic setup style?
With that question, I run a little bit of all of it. I'll run maybe 1 or 2. It's just a float and a weight on it with a traditional Santee style, and I might have one out there that's on a 3-way crane, 2 foot long with the float, with a rattle in the float, with a daggone rattle rocket on that one, with a dropper loop so I can adjust how deep I want it, the weight off the bottom. And then once I tune into what they want, that's what I'm running that day.
That's it. We got a little bit of it all.
Yep.
I think every rod that we throw out is set up just a little bit different. And like you, once we find out what they like the most, we'll switch over and start running that style of a rig more.
It's like we were talking about picking up on what other folks do. One of my buddies, I ain't gonna say his name because he'll kill me. He's dragging with a sinker slide. And I'm like, that is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And now maybe half of mine's got sinker slides on them. I learned it's a whole lot easier to retire a sinker slide rig than it is a 3-way with the crane.
I'll tell you, when I'm switching from anchor to drag, I like to have the 3-way swivel. But if I know I'm going to be dragging we lost JB.
Yep.
If I know I'm going to be dragging and I'm not going to be anchoring, I put sinker slides on. And my main reason is because when I send them, those 3-way swivels, they just tangle up more when you send them long. And the 3-way the sinker slide separates from your rig when you cast it, and you don't get it. It never gets tangled up on the rest of it. So there's something to it because it happens a lot when you throw them long and you're dragging and you got a 3-way swivel on there. You definitely tangle them more. So that's why I go with the sinker slide. Now I do have I'm still lazy right now because it's either we're in the spawn. It's 82-degree temps and water temps, and I'm lazy. I'm not even counting on catching big fish. So I still got old beat up rigs and my line's hazy. It needs to be switched. And
it's going to have that triple hit.
That's what we thought about last weekend when we hooked into that big one. I'm like, man, did I check this rig over?
That's the first thing I think of when I catch that first big fish. I'm like, oh, I hope this rig holds up. I hope my line doesn't break.
Yeah.
And then after that, I generally switch everything. I'm like, it's time to get fresh.
Yeah.
That's it. I feel like every other trip is time for me to start changing. Depending on how that one trip goes, if I'm going to, skip a trip, how often to change it out then.
I'll tell you, though, Jamie, you've kind of screwed me on that with these Carolina lake weights because I got rigs I've been running all year. They still hadn't broken off. That is never the case. Usually you break off, it's time to restring. You got new rigs on all the time. I've gone throughout a year 100 rigs. I got rods that I got to switch hooks. It's like I've been running them all year. It's just
when it's working, you hate to change it.
I know, but it's because I'm not losing them.
Yeah.
I quit losing rigs. It's crazy. I mean, I still lose one occasionally, but it's. I'll say now it's rare that I lose a rig, and now I got hazy line on half my rods, and I got banged up and beat up leader lines that need to be switched out. And before, it just happened naturally by losing stuff.
Back in the days when you went fishing and knew you were going to tie 12 rigs before you got up. That used to be. Just knew you were going to do it.
Yeah, I'd have trips where I'd lose 8 rigs, you know, and it was just part of the. Guys are like, "Man, I lost 8 rigs." I'm like, "Just part of the game."
There he is. Wow, man.
There's
Wild.
Wild.
Hit a growth spurt, man. He's a giant. He's had his tonsils out Friday, so we're fishing a tournament this weekend, right? We're fishing a tournament this weekend. Careful, buddy. Careful. Action Jackson, Texas Tornado. Get these dogs out of here. Oh, man. We're having problems. Get your foot off of there. Sorry, man. This happens every show.
He's the man. I have seen him sing. Tear the whole booth up one time. I ain't never gonna forget it. Kept on. We got all the reels. He got up under the table.
Yeah, he was a handful.
Around with move.
Yeah. You know what's funny is he was picking those rods up, banging them around, and Matt's like, he ain't gonna break one of them. We went over to the Tackle Bandit booth, and they're like, he's gonna break those Danny King rods. They weren't singing that song over at Mad Cats.
Dad, stop pushing me back.
Get that dog out of here.
I want him up here.
All right, buddy.
No, I want him up here.
What's your plans for this week, Sean? What you got? What you got planned? You going fishing or?
Oh, hopefully, maybe I can get out. I ain't
Pop up here.
quite sure I will.
Get him over here.
Family stuff right now, but maybe middle of next week. I got my truck back, so hopefully it's gonna be wide open from here on out.
Nice.
I'll have Randy back on the boat.
He's letting him out.
Heels out of his pants and doing all.
I was about to say the eels ain't safe on the boat with Randy.
He said he turned the camera on. I said, "Well," I said, "Jesus Christ, son."
I almost died when I saw that picture. I was like, "Oh no!"
Call him.
But
Boy's a big.
I tell you, he's a handful, isn't he?
He ain't nothing compared to this kid.
I don't know. I'll trade you sometimes.
No.
It's never a dull moment, boy. I love it. That's what it's all. Just having fun. Just going out there having a big time.
What's the rest of the year going to be for us? You know, for what with your new slings with sticking fat girls? What's your plans the rest of the year, John?
Whew. Hopefully, I got to get my website up. I've got it like almost there, but it's not there yet because I'm like not a tech guy, more or less.
Don't say.
I don't know if that would come off like I'm a super tech guy or anything, but I'm working on that. I don't know. I'm going to hit a few tournaments. I'm still debating if I want to do a staff thing or not because, I mean, I don't have, I do got time for it. I'm lazy today. Just trying to figure out exactly. The sling thing is more of a hobby right now, but it's starting to turn into a business, you know. It's just finding which direction I want to go to with it and charting out how I'm going to keep products on hand so I can keep trying. Right. It gets on my nerves if you ordered, let's say, 20 slings right now, and I've got 19 carabiner clips. It aches my nerves. I can't ship them tomorrow. You know.
How long does it take you to make a sling?
If I sit down and have my mind to it and keep my Facebook away from my face, I can turn one out and back. start to finish.
Nice.
But
I
I'll
can
get in
fish.
there and I'll get one tag and I'll get to starting on the second one. Oh, let me see what Chris is doing. Then it turns into an all-day thing.
Well, I can tell you, man, everybody loves them. I know we definitely do. We've sold a lot of these things, and I tell you, man, these things, if you don't have one on your boat, you need to get them. That's for sure. Because they are bad to the bone.
It's cool seeing folks fishing with stuff you made with your own hands. Or
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the hat. I like the hat with the green camouflage, the sticking
Nope.
fat girl's hat. That's got to be one of your best sellers. I don't know. I've never seen that hat. I don't know who makes it, but that is a cool hat, and the logo's awesome too, man. You nailed it on that thing.
Believe it or not, that is my second best-selling hat. The one Jamie's got on was a mistake, and everybody loves that hat for some reason. That white box was not supposed to be on that hat.
I tell you what, I love it. I tell you, it turned out
The guy
nice.
said it to me, I said, this ain't what I wanted, man. He said, man. I said, it'll probably sell. I said, because I think the first order, won but 10 of them. And we got them in. And within, I think the first 30 minutes, I ain't have none. I said, oh, Lord, make me some more. Need 20 minutes.
What are you guys fishing this weekend? Ben and Tips asked what I'm fishing. Me and my son are fishing at a kids fishing tournament, online tournament on Rogers channel. So we plan on winning. We're going to win big fish. We're probably going to win most fish, and we're going to try to win smallest fish too. So we're going to try to win every category. That's the goal.
Nice.
We'll see how it works. I may not catch a fish now that I said that.
Put the jinx on myself.
I hadn't been on the boat in almost a month. We've been alligator gar fishing, so I thought, damn, I probably should fish last weekend. But I'm gonna go out Friday night, get bait, and do a little bit of scouting. This time of year, fish are easy to pattern. Now, just hopefully the wind's blowing enough to get them where they'll want to bite. But how about you guys? What's y'all's fishing plans for the weekend?
I will be around the house more than likely this weekend.
I think
Honey-do list, work chores. What do you got? What are you doing?
Yeah, I got some short honeydews. My wife's mean. She makes me work like 2 weeks out of the year, and it's right at this time.
Jamie?
I think we're going to get up early Saturday morning. We're going to run up to.
You're doing honey-do lists.
No, I'm going up to Mad Cat Saturday morning, hurrying back, and probably going out to do some bait fishing. And I believe end up back somewhere close to the same spot we were last weekend. Try to see if we can't do it again.
So Hayden said, do you see the new rod drop? And we were talking about the rod dropping before the show started, and I asked JBN if he'd gotten a look at it. He said he's got 5 rods in his hands that he's like, which rod you talking about? Because I got 5 that hadn't dropped yet. So Hayden, what's the name of the rod? What's the color combination? Because I haven't seen it. I heard it dropped while we were in studio. We went and looked on Mad Cats to see what rod it was.
It's too bright. It's called the Fins or something.
It is called the Fins rod.
Fins.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's like a baby blue, orange, black handle.
You got one handy, JBN?
I do not have one here. My protege that stays at the shop has hogged all those rods and will not let me touch.
But I can tell you, it's a nice looking rod. It really is. It's almost got, like I said, it's a tealish, baby bluish color in between that color, and it's a nice looking rod. That's for sure.
Let's see if my phone will do it a little bit better. There it is.
God, though, there it is.
That's a beautiful rod. I love that.
Oh, there it is.
I've got enough rods though. So
Well, I'm going to Mad Cat Saturday morning.
I'll take that. I just got a bunch of these carbines I need to
Put to work.
use.
Well, what Rebecca don't know, since we're going up to a Mad Cat Saturday morning, I might accidentally maybe get me another rod.
In medium.
Yeah. We got to have one. It's starting to turn into like that Pokemon game. We got to have, you got to catch them all. We got to have one of
That's
every
it.
one.
That's it. I just got rid of 18 of them and started all over with,
You started all over. You already got 18.
yeah, I got 18 more already.
I've already I went ahead and convinced myself that I'm going to have probably I'm going to try to get at least half the boat replaced about every year.
Yeah.
So I guess and I've just been giving my rides away to like kids and stuff that are on the boat. And we're fortunate enough to be on the Mad Cats team where we get a hell of a crazy discount. So I think it's cool I asked Matt, can I give these away? He's like, feel free. Just if you got tournament buddies that are throwing tournaments, he's like, just order the rods or give your rods, and if you order them from me, I'll match what you decide you want to donate. So, it's cool being on Mad Cats where they take care of us, and Matt's a good dude to be able to give like that.
He is. I mean,
so JB, I'll be getting with you. I need some more new slings to match all the rods I have now on the.
We can do it. We can do it. I'm all about it.
Don't forget about, like Chris was saying, the trolling motor, the link.
Yeah, so I need a trolling motor. I know everybody's like rod leash. I need a trolling motor neck deal, but I also need the kill switch with the keychain.
All right.
And then Rebecca needs her dog leash.
And you know what colors I rock? I roll that gray and green. So
that's right. I know Chris's colors.
I gotta get one of them green camo sticking fat girls hats too. So
I will get one shipped to you when I get some more in. I got an order coming in.
I know I've tried to get them from you a couple of times. You're like, oh, just got rid of the last one.
Hey man,
I'm like, damn, those things fly off the shelf.
When they first dropped, I think I ordered 20 of them, and I was scared to death. I said, I don't know if they're going to like this or not. I like it. Man, and I posted. The guy that made them sent me the picture. I ain't even picked them up yet. I was on the way to get them and posted it. And before I got home, which is a 15-minute ride, half of them were gone already.
Yeah. I told Jamie, I was like, I think JBN's onto something on that hat.
Uh-huh.
Well, JBM, if somebody wants to order some new slings, a hat, how can they go about getting them?
You can PM me, or you can go on Carolina Lakeweight's website and get you some new slings also.
And I heard you got some hell aces of nice looking stickers.
Oh yeah, I got the most awesome sticker lady in the business. Turnaround time is amazing.
She's quick.
She is. It's boom boom.
Well, guys, if y'all need your new slings to get them rods, be safe, your hats, your stickers, get with JBM and he'll get you hooked right up. That's for sure.
Yes.
But Chris, what we got coming up, buddy?
Oh, for me, always got dealing with this kid. So for him, it's he's out of commission supposedly for 2 weeks with this tonsil surgery. But Monday he said, Dad, we got to go fishing because I didn't get to go last weekend. So I said, okay, well, this weekend, if you're up to it, we'll go. He's like, we're going. So we're going to fish the tournament this weekend. And then after that, man, he's starting up soccer again. So this crap's year round now, it seems like. So I got to work my fishing schedule around them, but we'll fish. We'll be doing the same thing, man. We fish every weekend. Our fishing pretty much sucks, until about mid-August. We can start doing pretty good in the evening times, but I'm just going to fish with him and have fun doing our thing.
I need you to do me a favor, Chris. On the next 50 he catches, I need him straddling the catfish with a cowboy hat on and take a picture for me.
Oh, I'll do that for sure. I'll do that for sure. I've got a bunch for him of him straddling the catfish.
Oh yeah.
No cowboy hat. And I'll tell you, I've got more hate
I know.
from guys seeing that him straddling that catfish. That I've had guys say, "Get off the effing fish." I'm like, first of all, guys, you didn't see it took me 2 minutes to position him on there.
Oh yeah.
He is not laying on the catfish.
He got
I've never hurt a big fish in 30 something years of catching them.
Yeah.
We take care of the fish. They all swim off. But for whatever reason, when you got a kid,
No, it's
a
jealousy.
certain amount of guys are hating on that. I don't
The
get it,
male-
man.
too. How was this little kid catching these big fish, and I've done spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm still dinking it up. That's all it is.
I know.
We'll definitely do that though, man. We'll get you one soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before we get a 50, but last August we got a 58, I think, right after the spawn. So it's possible, but our best fishing doesn't start till the fall.
Mm-hmm. And when it turns on, it seems like it turns on for y'all.
Yeah, when it turns on, it doesn't really turn off for about 6 months.
Heck no. When I was doing the Mad Cat contest, it was more like who's going to be competing with Chris this week. I already know if you ain't got a 50, you ain't even in the running right yet because he's going to throw least tonight.
That's it. That's it. I know once we get done, I know we got jump back in. We got, I think, 20 more hats to make up and get shipped out and stuff. So that's what we got to look forward to the rest of the night.
That's pretty much every night.
Yeah.
The beauty of having your own business.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right. You're never off, but you're always home.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But
Jeff says, Rebecca, how's the recovery going? Hadn't seen much of Rebecca tonight. She loses her voice. I never heard her so damn quiet.
I'm here. Recovery is awesome.
Good, good.
yeah, I think what got to work on the knee a little bit more.
Yeah, I got to work on the knee.
More rehab.
I'm starting the physical therapy.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go from there.
Yep. So she's coming along good. She's getting her foot up high enough to kick me in the rear now. So
I'm kicking, not high, but I'm kicking.
I can't see this thumbnail. So who is Infamous Catfishing? He says he's been on the team for 2 years. You guys know who is Infamous Catfishing?
State your name.
I'm not familiar with that name on you. Is that YouTube? JBN, you know Infamous Catfishing?
Not by that name.
I don't either.
Fourth names, man.
He's hugging a big ass fish. What's up, Will? That's Will. That's one of our Mad Cats teammates.
Will is the man. Yes. Oh, Will. I did not know Will was Infamous Catfishing, though. He'll chew me out later for it. Sorry, Will.
So you guys want to find JBN? You can find him on Facebook. It's John Bubba New. He's also got a Facebook group, Sticking Fat Girls. He's
that way.
You can find him in the Mad Cats Unlimited page. Do you do any TikTok or anything like that?
I used to do TikTok I need to get back up there.
I know you used to do a lot of promotional stuff for Mad Cats. So, and I asked you, I know right when we built our team, I asked you if you could help us, and you're like, I'm too busy for all that.
They had me running everywhere. They had me running everywhere. Yeah, just look me up. I'm willing to help anybody. I just love the whole sport and the family and everything. Big old fat, jolly, happy guy.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us, telling your story. It's been fun. It's been fun being your teammate. I like partnering with y'all with Carolina Lake Weights. I think having cool, strong partners is cool. I don't know really how it all helps each other, but it's good to have a good team, strong team. To me, you're one of the good guys. You accepted me with open arms on the Mad Cats Pro staff.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
So I appreciate that. I know it's sometimes you kind of got to prove yourself when you get onto those types of deals, but you're one of the guys that just basically accepted me from the get-go. So I appreciate you, buddy. It's been fun.
Thank you, sir. I have never met a person I didn't like until they have proven it. Gave me a reason not to like them, more or less.
And I got to say the same, man. You've been like a brother to me.
We love John Bubba
And Rebecca loves you to death, and we love you to death here at Carolina Lake Weights. And, you know, all of our family, you know, we're, like Chris said, one happy family, man. And it's good that we consider you as our family and our brother. That's for sure.
I appreciate y'all bringing me in. And y'all have not asked me yet how I met Randy Carter. I can't believe it.
Well, let's hear it. That's
We would
got to
love
be a good story.
Oh, Lord. We were at a fishing tournament a couple years back. I've never met him, never heard of him. And for some odd reason, he didn't know why I haven't heard of him. And I didn't know why he hasn't heard of me. So you got these two egos already think going to rub a little bit, but I was with a different brand and I pulled up and it was all the Mad Cat boys and they were looking me down. I'm like, God damn, they're going to whip my hind parts out here or something. So I'm out there getting ready to check my live well check, and here he comes, boy, strutting. I said, you gonna come up here and try to tear my hind parts up? You know, I'm gonna get the conversation started to feel it might a little bit. Man, them boys ain't gonna do nothing. And then from that day on, it was just back and forth on Facebook, and then we started fishing with each other, and he started sticking eels in his pants and licking fish. Just he made me laugh and I made him laugh, and you just bond with some folks. I reckon I love him to death now. God darn, that's my boy. Right or wrong, I'm gonna be right there with him.
Oh, I love her.
I'm a little jealous of him. He's my side boo. He's bae. You know, we got that connection.
It looks like y'all known each other your whole life, man.
It does.
Yeah, when he came on our show, he said, you two might as well go ahead and go on and get married."
Almost. It's bait.
He's your life partner.
Mm-hmm. Yep, everybody got to that point. It's one Randy Carter. That's all. That's all I will say. That's my
Randy Carter.
I love the best and the worst out of me sometimes.
I can only imagine.
You have no idea. That's the bad part.
The bad part is I'm scared to know. I promise you. If you could be a fly around y'all's boat, sometimes it would probably scare me.
Sometimes I just sit there and like, Randy, you ain't never thought about that? No. But it does kind of make sense that weird. You know, it's just one of those things. All right. I got to stop talking about Randy.
Well, JBN, if you're ever down here in Texas, or if you ever want to come down here and fish, I'll always have a spot on the boat for you. So just let me know if you want to come down. Just let me know. We'll go catch some fish.
Yes, sir.
The invite's open always for Jamie and Rebecca. I don't know if they'll ever get on a plane to get here, but
I'm with them. I'm gonna drive. I don't like flying.
Hey, we'll just drive up.
My fat butt has been off the grain one time, and that was my buddy. He ain't even had his pilot's license yet. We went, got in this little crop duster. I grabbed the tail with my hand and picked it up. I said, This ain't good.
Just ain't safe.
I told myself, once this plane hits the ground, Bubba knew it's not getting back in another airplane.
Well, buddy, we definitely need to get together and do some fishing. I know we've talked a couple times. We'll get together here shortly and do some fishing, all of us, and have a good time. That's for sure.
That's open invite for anybody on my boat. Anytime, y'all come on up here.
I'm gonna head up that direction some point. It's gonna have to be a pretty big trip planned for all the crap I got to get in when I head that way. So
Yeah.
I've gotten to be friends with so many guys from y'all's part of the country now. It's like it's gonna be a good trip when I do make it that way. But we appreciate you coming on. Thanks everybody else for tuning in. It's been another great show. I had a great time listening to and talking with JBN, and I know Jamie did.
Yeah, I've laughed so much my jaw hurts.
Rebecca, I didn't even know she was there.
There she
I'm
is.
taking it all in. I'm taking it all in.
But yeah, brother, it's been a heck of a show. I've enjoyed it. I've laughed a lot. I know Rebecca's been over there. She's been laughing and
The whole time I've been going, Jamie, ask him about the puppies. Jamie, ask him about the puppies.
Yeah, if y'all need some lab puppies, hit me up. I have available.
We do.
Hey,
I knew it was coming.
Oh, so bad.
So we might have to come up and look and do a fishing trip all at the same time.
yeah, exactly.
Ben and Tip says he'd like to come fish with me, and invitation's always open, buddy. And it goes for anybody. Anybody who wants to come fishing with me, all you got to do is ask. I've never asked for gas money. Bring some snacks. If it's hot, bring some beer. We'll go catch fish. If you want to catch big fish, hit me up in the fall or the winter, and we'll go do it. It's pretty much a guaranteed on our boat. So appreciate you tuning in with us. Thanks, JBN, Jamie, Rebecca. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you guys next week. Azul out.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.